Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! Almost Conference Finals edition.
Almost Conference Finals edition. That's right. And Keith, we got our wish. We're getting a Game 7 between the Nuggets and the Thunder. I am so excited for that one.
Trevor, I'm making a prediction right now at the top of the show. We're getting 2 Game 7s.
Oh.
We're getting 2 of them.
Do you even want that?
Yeah, of course I do.
You do?
Unlike your team, my team's not giving up, man. They're not rolling over.
No, my team definitely gave up. There's no question. My team definitely gave up. What's your option? Like if the Celtics were to win Game 6 in New York, does that totally flip the series? Is that it? It's over and the Celtics win?
Well, I don't know if it's over, but it definitely it's funny, right? It's been all series long, really all season for the Knicks because of how good Jalen Brunson is in the clutch. When it's a close game late, you just kind of, the Knicks get these done. I think that could maybe go the other way because I think it's a little like, man, it's like we had this. We were up 3-1. Jason Tatum's out. Like, why is this even still a game? And the point I made this morning to some folks was the Knicks have not played well offensively outside of 2 fourth quarters and 1 game. The rest of the time, they've been abysmal offensively, and that's not going to change, I don't think, too much. Maybe they come out and shoot the lights out, and Boston just can't keep up. And I honestly think that might be the way forward for the Knicks. I think they're playing too slow. I'd rather see – it sounds so weird to say that with a Tibbs team, but push the pace, right? Get shots up, play a little bit faster, play through your guys. You have more guys that should be able to score than Boston can, but it's just not how Tibbs wants to play, and I think it's holding them back a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and I do think that some of it can be I've seen this sentiment from a lot of Celtics fans that essentially the Knicks haven't beat the Celtics have beat the Celtics. And you look at game 1 and game 2, they shot 25% from 3. Is that really what it all comes down to? Is that and we should give credit to the Knicks defense. I think that's underselling what the Knicks have done in this series. I don't think I'm just saying I've seen that sentiment out there. Do you think it is as simple as if the Celtics 3-point percentage is low, then the Knicks win, and if it's not, then the Celtics are going to win game 6?
I mean, it might be. I think that without turning this into let's break down Celtics Knicks the whole show. There are 3 key factors, I think, in this game tonight. It's the 3-point shooting. Are the Celtics on or are they not? The Knicks have proven they can win if they're not hitting. Boston can't. If they're not making shots, they're probably just not going to be able to score enough. The second is turnovers, especially live ball turnovers. When the Celtics have kept control of the ball, kept the live ball turnovers low, they've tended to do quite well in these games. And then the last is offensive rebounding. If you had told me at the beginning of the series, Boston would be actually handing it to the Knicks on the glass, I would have been a little bit surprised. The Knicks have not been a good defensive rebounding team this year, which is a little surprising. But when you dig into it, it's kind of cat, and that's it, because Mitchell Robinson's not a great defensive rebounder. But I thought they'd get all over the offensive glass, and they have to some extent. But Boston has been all over the offensive glass, so including Luke Cornett. There's the center the Lakers should max out next year.
Cornett,
right?
The Cornett contest. That's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just been incredible, though. It really was great last time. So, so we're just in a spot where I think those are the 3 big things that'll come down to. As far as your question on, like, have the Knicks won it or has Boston lost it? All credit to the Knicks. The Celtics did blow 2 20-point leads, but the Knicks took them, right? Everybody focuses on the team blowing the lead without thinking about, well, the other team took the game, right? They still came and won the game, and they made a bunch of huge plays. But it's just been a kind of a weird series. And at this point tonight, I'm just having fun with it, and let's see where it goes, right? If they win tonight, awesome. We get a game 7, and let's have a little bit of fun.
Oh, you are in, Keith, you are a goalkeeper in a penalty kick situation now.
Sure.
Because if you get the stop, you're the hero. And if you don't, you're going to say, well, nobody expected it anyway. The shooter's got a great advantage, right? And all of that. And that's where things are at. Last I looked, though, the Knicks were a 2.5-point favorite, and that's it.
Yeah.
In this game. Like, this is projected to be very clear. Yeah, it is still 2.5 points. the Knicks are the favorite, and that's it in New York. And you get a point and a half just being the home team. So even no Tatum, there's not a lot of faith out there that the Knicks are going to close this thing out tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of you are looking at Towns can't stay out of foul trouble, and Brunson has been outside of those games late. He's really struggled, and I think the Celtics, they did two things with him that was different in Game 5 than earlier in the series. They did not put Drew Holiday and Derek White on him very often. They defended him with Jaylen Brown in the half court situations, which just a bigger player, a lot more size. He had a little bit of trouble getting to his spots because Jalen Brunson, even though he's small, he's extremely physical.
Yeah.
He likes to put his shoulder into a guy, bump into him, push them, into his spots where then he can get into that little fall away. And then the other thing they did was Peyton Pritchard. It was like Joe Mazzulla pulled all the right, levers in Game 5. It was okay. I think Brunson's now a little tired. Peyton, go press him 85 feet away and make him work. And I think, that just had him way off his game. And that I would expect to see some of that. Now the Knicks have had a day to prep for it. Maybe they're going to be a little bit more ready, but we'll see. And then let's see what Kristaps Porzingis, if he plays, if they get anything out of him. If he plays, we'll see. But yeah, you're kind of, oddly to put it this way, for a defending champion, but you're kind of now playing a little bit with house money here because no, everybody expected it to be over by now or to end tonight. And we say it all the time. You get to a Game 7, weird stuff happens in Game 7s all the time. Some random guy starts hitting threes that it's like, what is this? Like, how did we get Grant Williams a few years ago against the Bucks?
Yeah, we just had the Peyton Watson game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like you never know.
Strother last night in Game 6,
sorry, Julian Strother.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Peyton Watson. Julian Strother. I mixed up my two wings there. All right, let's get it. And I do think I'm excited for this game. I do think Peyton Pritchard utilizing him more was important.
Yeah.
In this one, they weren't using him enough prior to that. But the Knicks, as Steven Torres says, the Knicks know they need to win tonight. Yeah, they're in big trouble if they don't win tonight. The pressure is all on the Knicks to go out there and take this win tonight, because if they don't and it goes to back to Boston, you don't. That's just a horrible look for the Knicks, and you don't want to do it. But again, there's not a lot of faith in the Knicks, obviously, from the way the betting market is out there right now. Let's see what else we've got here. Kenny said, as a Nuggets fan, I would like an apology, Keith, for picking the Thunder in 5. We have battled and fought so hard. Can we get some respect, please? I don't think anyone should ever apologize for their projections or whatever like that. It's not like you're saying it's because this team is bad or something like that. That's why we thought this would go the Thunder's way. It's because we looked at the Thunder as being such a good team. And I've been disappointed in what we've seen out of the Thunder. I think they have vastly underperformed based on what we expected out of them in this series. But this is not like, oh my God, the disrespect and all the hyperbolic words that we want to throw out there on somebody. No, you make a prediction, you make an educated guess on what you think is going to happen. That doesn't require an apology if your prediction doesn't come true. It's like, hey, did you pick the right lottery numbers? No. Oh, I apologize for not picking those right numbers, right?
Yeah. And Kenny's wearing a Clippers shirt in his avatar. So what are you weeing with a Clippers shirt on?
Is that a Clippers shirt?
Yeah.
Oh my God! In the wild, I don't think I've ever seen one of those
Kenny,
before.
Explain yourself. Apologize for that. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, hey, I thought the Nuggets were going to be too tired. The Nuggets they've battled. He is right on that. Like, it's been awesome. I'm so glad we're getting a Game 7. I'm incredibly pumped for this one. And yeah, all the credit in the world to the Nuggets for getting there. I'm a little bit worried about Aaron Gordon. Grabbing the hamstring at the end of the game. He says he's okay, but the David Adelman was like, I'm really concerned, so I'm not sure.
He's really worried.
Yeah.
So. This time of year, though, everybody wants to be coy with injury information. Nobody wants to put out there how bad it actually is. And we just saw the Warriors lose Steph Curry due to a hamstring injury, and we know even if it's a grade 1 hamstring strain, Aaron Gordon's probably not a go. He's been phenomenal in this series, and really in the entire season, he's been great. That could very easily swing Game 7. Not just the Thunder having home court, but if there's no Aaron Gordon, that's a big problem for Denver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're already down to Strother was great last night, but you're down to like 6 guys. I'm going to say you're down to your 5 starters. Plus, if you get good Russ, Like you feel good about that if you're the Nuggets. Other than that, you take one more guy away. Like, come on, like where do we go? So Kenny chimed back in and said fair, but he still didn't explain his Nuggets fandom with a Clippers shirt on. Like, come on,
Got
now.
it.
Maybe he's just trolling you. I don't know.
Could be. Is this like this game to me feels like it's going to matter a lot for Russell Westbrook. For Russell in term because there's no in between. He's either going to be great and everybody's going to go, wow, all right, Russ can still do something, or he is going to be awful. And it may happen within the span of a minute. He may go great, awful, like in five plays in the span of like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You just never know. I think this game's going to matter a lot, like in terms of what you get out of Russell Westbrook on either side. Russ is either going to win this game for the Nuggets or he's going to win this game for the Thunder. He's helping one of these two teams, I think, in Game 7. I just don't know which one it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm afraid if he comes in and he's pressing too much, that's going to be a major problem, right? Because then it's like, hey, why did the Nuggets lose? Well, Russ took 25 shots and went 7 for 25 from the field, and that's how it ended. That's not good. We nobody needs that. So let's kind of see where it goes. But yeah, I'm there's a world where he comes out and he plays great too. I also think Adelman won't let it get that far. If he's really struggling, he'll probably just pull him. But that also comes down to, again, if Aaron Gordon's limited and can't be himself, thank God for the Nuggets, though, that they get 2 days off. They've been playing every other day for, I think it's almost a month now. Mm-hmm. Like basically since the playoffs started, they've been playing every other day. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but that's every other day. A lot of those are travel days in there. It's just messy. So yeah, I'm fired up, man. That's going to be a great game. It's a night afternoon game too. So we don't even have to, like it's just going to happen early in the day. We don't have to, stay up super late. I'm ready to go.
When I look at Russ and what he did, I thought he made some smart moves in last night's game, especially late when it was very clear, like, the Nuggets, they're going to let him back into this thing. And then he took the ball to the basket and he scored. That was just a smart decision. So you just never know what you're going to get there. Did you see the conference finals schedules out already? Mm-hmm. And it's every day, every other day.
Yeah, that's generally about the way it works. Here's the thing. There's not, there's not like crazy travel, right? Because there's no true West Coast team in it. Denver's the furthest west that there is.
True.
Left, so if it's Denver, Minnesota, that's the furthest trip you have, and that's not too bad, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that could be it as well. That's certainly going to be part of it. All right.
Also lining it up to get, because the final schedule is set and has been set forever. So that's just lining that up.
So everybody, make sure if you're joining us live here, throw in your questions, your comments. This is your show. We're going to be taking all of these throughout the show as we go along here. I do want to get into this. This one said, Natolo said, Trevor, are you open to LeBron leaving if he could find the right return package? Sure. I mean, that would be true of pretty much anybody.
Like in a trade?
In a trade, yeah. I mean, sure. My big thing, because a lot of people, Keith, there's a lot of people that are within Lakers fandom. There are, get LeBron off this team now. I hate LeBron. I've always hated LeBron. Get him off the team. I don't care if he walks away for nothing. Get him off the team. And then there's, people are dumb. Why are you saying that? Don't get him off the team. He needs to stay. All of that. I don't have any allegiance towards LeBron one way or another. He's an incredible player. There's no question. But if you told me there's the right return package, sure. My question for people has always simply been, how do the Lakers get better by LeBron walking away this summer? And I don't think there is a true answer to that. And that's why I asked the question, because a lot of people they get in their emotions and all of that. Ultimately, where I land with LeBron, sure. If you told me there's a trade package out there where the Lakers could get pieces back that make them better next season and into the future or something like that, yeah, I've no problems with that. That's not just what an organization looks at. They're going to look at the financials and all of that kind of stuff and things of that nature. But I don't think they're in a situation where it's you must get rid of LeBron or something like that. I think things got a little overboard with a lot of the kind of the anti-LeBron side wanting to take victory laps, and it got messy there for a few weeks.
Yeah, trading him becomes very difficult, right? Because that
Y-
obviously means he's opting in if you're trading him, because his
Yeah,
sign-in trade's probably not going to be a thing. And if he opts in, he has a no trade clause.
yeah,
So you're not just saying doesn't matter how great of an offer you could get offered Wemby. And if LeBron's like, I don't want to go to San Antonio, you're stuck. There's nothing you could do there. So,
right.
that's where the challenge comes in with that. If it was just hopefully he opts out and walks away in free agency, to the point that I've heard you make it now several times. Yeah, how are you replacing them? How are you
Yeah,
getting better in that situation? Because you're probably not. We went through it on the show one day. There's still not going to be cap space, or at least meaningful enough cap
like
space to do
16 million or
anything.
so.
Yeah, you're basically talking like, okay, cool, an MLE-ish signing, and that's kind of where it is.
All right, let's go with this one here. This is an interesting question. Squid said, "Does the Trailblazers being put up for sale, does that create another obstacle towards expansion?" Because remember, Keith, when the Celtics were up for sale, the
Yep.
conversation was, "We're going to look at expansion, but we want to get through the Celtics sale first." So does this add another roadblock in terms of actually getting expansion off the ground and moving?
Yeah, I don't think so, because I don't think the NBA is looking. They needed the Celtics to set a high watermark of this is what a franchise can cost there, and they
Sure.
did. They got $6 billion. They got a little bit more than what the NBA was hoping for. They came in at a $6 billion valuation. The Trailblazers, they come in at like 3.5 or 4. That's like, then okay, that's fine, as long as it's not like they come in completely pathetic. Like that would be really tough. Like that would be a not good at all. If it came in that low, then you're like, man, we can't ask that much for expansion teams. But I don't think the Trailblazers sale is going to hold it up the way the Celtics one did. And there was even a quote out there again from the NBA is like, yeah, we're gonna start looking into two things more this summer. Like, which says to me, like, we're gonna get through the rest of the season, and then we'll kind of start the process over the summertime. So it's coming. Like I don't think anything's gonna hold it up now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go here. Keith and Trevor, who's more likely to get traded? Durant, or I'm assuming that's Jalen Brown.
Durant.
Kevin Durant by a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
By
no,
a lot.
yeah, that's not even close.
Like
Kevin Durant's gonna get
Kevin Durant's
traded.
more likely to get traded than not get traded.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's rare. If you guys have been watching our show for a long time, we always say the most likely outcome is nobody gets traded because the right deal isn't there. Deal's too hard to put together. But
Mhm.
in the Kevin Durant case, I think that's as good as done. And I'm not gonna be surprised if it comes. I'm not saying it's gonna be the Warriors because that ship seems to have sailed after they acquired Jimmy Butler. But we heard a few other teams mentioned. And often what happens is when teams are, I don't even want to say close, but they're engaged in talks at the trade deadline. It's just very hard to make trades that big in season when you're talking those kind of salaries. So I think what they're more likely to do is, all right, let's, kind of like re-engage now in the summertime when it's easier. There's teams that can be facilitators. We have extra roster spots. We haven't made ourselves subject to the aprons just yet in the way we
Mhm.
maybe were in season and those kind of things. So it's just a little easier. But I think KD gets traded.
Yeah, I agree. I think he winds up getting moved. Now, where he gets moved is going to be one of the talking points in the summer, of course, and we'll be digging into all of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just mostly the most important part of all of this, where regardless of where Kevin Durant lands, it's that the Kevin Cannon lives.
Hell yeah.
I missed that one.
I missed it too. I'm glad it's back, man.
I missed that one.
Let's go. We can't. I don't want him to get traded like in one of those weird trades that comes like very early in the off season. Like, let's drag it out a little bit so we can get a little bit more out of the Kevin
Yeah,
Cannon.
right. We need to get used to it. I'm so glad I didn't delete that because I almost did. And now here we are again, and we get to use it all over again. Lake Show 1996 said LeBron's tenure as a Laker, is it a success or a failure? In my mind, you can tell me from the outsider perspective, Keith, but in my mind, they won a championship. That in and of itself makes it a success.
100%. Yeah, they won the first couple of years were a little messy, but that wasn't like, I don't even know. Maybe it was a year. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it's 100% success. You won a title. Like that's
Just to peel back the curtain, Keith, I think you're going to love this. just to peel back the curtain a little bit. So I just had our one of our advertising partners reach out to me and say, in a campaign that we're going to run here on for front office, and just texted me and said, "What do you want your promo code to be for front office?" I think you're going to like my choice, Keith.
Okay, what'd you pick?
Hard cap.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm like, if you're watching this show, you know what it means. You know what it's.
I
what we're
can't
talking about.
grab it. Somebody, because just further peek behind the scenes, we've had to change the way we run the show a little bit. We'll get back to more normal. But somebody said, "Where's my second apron and hard cap?" That's I wouldn't be wearing that today though. Come on,
No,
it might make a return again at some point. I went back and watched the beginning of that because like you're like in. Just if anybody hasn't seen it, it's our first free agency show last year. It's dated. Right. It's the June 30th. It might actually be July 1st because I can't remember what time of night it was that we started recording. Like it was probably later in the evening. It's either June 30th or July 1st. And just watch the first like few minutes of it if you want to have a laugh. Because Trevor had no idea what was coming.
No, he'd keep left his camera off until we actually came on the air for the show. Oh my God.
That was fun.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Jimmy says the Kevin at the end always kills me with the Kevin cannon. Yes, that's my favorite part.
That was like a last minute inclusion too, and I went,
I love it.
"Oh, the mom from Home Alone." I need to add that in there. What do you think about this? Do you think Phoenix would trade Kevin Durant and the 29th pick for Paul George's contract and pick 3, and then flip that with the 76ers? Give up that stuff. 76ers would clear up a lot of future money. I also think that Kevin Durant is the better player than Paul George is. What is that even like? That's a big. We talked about trading back from 3 to 29. That's a big jump back.
Yeah, if I'm Philly, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
like that's not. I don't know the upgrade for Kevin Durant to Paul George, considering KD has his own availability issues, is enough to drop back 26 picks in the draft. I am very much in line with Philly should just keep the 3rd pick and make a pick.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a player who can help you now, depending on which way you go. I don't want to go too deep into draft stuff here, but like you could get into a position where the if it's VJ Edgecombe, that gives you some ability to be a little tighter with Quentin Grimes, whether you're going to keep him or not. There's a position where it is, you could get into a spot with the, if you want with Ace Bailey, he's kind of can do a little bit of an apprenticeship under Paul George and then play when George misses time. Like I would just keep that pick and move forward that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's ultimately where I would go to. If I am the 70, like I think it's a little different if we're talking about the Spurs and you're going to go get a win now piece to win with Wemby, because Wemby's ready to win right now, and but he's still young. So if you were to go after, say, Giannis or something like that, right, it makes a little bit. I think it makes sense for San Antonio. My issue though is with the 76ers. If you're going to make a win now move, let's say you're going to get an older player. I don't know that my older stars are even going to be available with Joel Embiid and Paul George. So if I am the 76ers, I am not worried about Joel Embiid or Paul George's timeline. I mean, I'm worried about it in terms of my cap sheet, but I'm not worried about trying to make moves to win with them. I'm focusing on the future. Focus on McCain, Maxey, and whatever I can get at number 3. And if Joel Embiid and Paul George are healthy and they're able to contribute, or if you wind up moving them or whatever, that's just the icing on the cake. And that's the opposite of where things were last summer with this team. But after the way this season played out, I think that's where the 76ers have to be. They have to look at their post Embiid and George future, despite the fact that they've got multiple years under contract, mostly because you cannot with any certainty think either one of them is going to be available for the stretch run, for any kind of playoff push or anything like that. It just has to be, if it happens, it happens, great. But you can't count on it if you're Philly, not at this point.
Yeah, I think if you're Philly, you're more likely to drop back. Like there's constructions that could maybe work where you drop back a little bit and you bring in like Cam Johnson from Brooklyn. Sure. And you pick up the 8th pick and another pick from the Nets because they now have a million of them. And then you kind of, Cam Johnson's in the fold. He's a helpful guy, whether Embiid and George are there or not. And I think here's the challenge. If Embiid and George were coming off, even both of them were coming off like the first injury of their careers, be like, okay, yeah, go get a win now piece, right? Like you could put faith in, they'll be fine and they'll be back. but they're coming off of injuries where it is these are the latest in a long string of injuries, and that's where my worry falls. With the Sixers making kind of an all-in move using the third pick, I think I would rather have them in a position where it becomes, let's just go make this pick, have the bridge guy, and move it forward that way.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's see. Somebody asked a question. I'm trying to find it, but asked essentially about the Toronto Raptors as a landing spot. And I know, Keith, I believe you brought them
Giannis,
up as kind of a sneak Giannis landing spot there. What do you think about them? And I'll find the exact question here.
Yeah, it's only a few back. There it is. Yeah. I mean, Giannis and Masai have a very deep, long relationship. That has been goes back a number of years. The Raptors also have the ability to put together guys in a trade that if the Bucks' intention is we're not fully bottoming out and restarting, we want to stay competitive, they could send 2, 3, 4 guys in a trade, and they could even do it where it is, hey, we're going to send you these 4 guys, and we'll also take back. You want off Pat Connaughton's contract. You want off Bobby Portis. You want off some other deal. Lillard's that's a bridge too far.
Right.
That's just too much money. But if it's another contract and it's you want off that one, great. Let's go. And we can do that because they've got so many guys that they could put together. I don't love the fit of Scotty Barnes and Giannis. It's not perfect, but you can make it work. You'll be fine. You get the right kind of guys around them. So I'm not going to take them out of the mix. Now, there was reporting from Mark Stein in the last couple of days that the Hawks have reached out to see if Masai Ujiri is interested in going to Atlanta. Atlanta has also reached out to Giannis's agent and said, are you interested? He's one of many agents that Atlanta is talking about. So yeah, we'll see. I still think it will probably be another team if it's Giannis, but it's certainly possible. Somebody asked about the Spurs. We talked a lot about that. Just draft intel that's coming out of Chicago. Everybody's there together for the combine. Is Cooper Flag to the Mavs is done. Not saying don't even call, but you better be the Spurs offering Wemby if you're calling.
Right.
And then it is Spurs are open for business at number 2. They're at least willing to talk. And the Sixers are at least willing to listen on number 3. And then, as you get further down, teams, are obviously open to, moving guys. But yeah, I don't think Giannis to Toronto will be a thing, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I agree I think that I don't think Giannis to Toronto winds up happening. I do think they have some interesting pieces if they do decide to go down that path. But the reality is that 29 teams are making the call on Giannis, and that some will be more serious than others. But the Raptors will obviously be one of them that will have that conversation, and we'll see where it goes. But I do think a decent chunk of this is going to be, where does Giannis want to go? I think if the Bucks are looking at things, and if there's an offer that is way better than let's say Giannis says, no matter what, I do not want to go to San Antonio for whatever reason, and the Spurs say, we'll give you Wemby, Milwaukee's going to go, sorry, Giannis, we're sending you where we want to send you, right? There's a limit to it. But I think if offers are close, the Milwaukee Bucks, assuming Giannis does want out, and we'll see if we get there, will take Giannis's wishes into consideration pretty strongly, as long as the deals are close in terms of value.
100%. They're not just going to trade him. If he says I want to go to, the Knicks, they're not going to be okay, we'll take back garbage for you. And there it is. And we're done. It's going to have to be the right deal for them. And, or if he's I want to go to the Nets, they're not going to be okay, we'll just salary dump you to the Nets. That's not going to be a thing. They're going to need, more guys back. Redman, this is Spot Track. I was
just pulling that up.
The only site you should be looking at for salary information. I'm by no means am I biased in that opinion at all.
Keith does work with Spot Track, but we use them exclusively. I use them exclusively when it comes to my stuff for Lakers Nation, for Basketball Bulletin, everything. It's the best info out there, and it's the most useful, even for what we're doing. It's the most useful salary cap info when you're trying to really figure out what something is, what a contract actually is. And I think visually it's very easy to look at, easier to look at than some other places are. And it just the depth of information that goes in there. For example, when we look at non-guaranteed contracts. The portion of it that's guaranteed is easily accessible, and that's an important thing to note when we're looking at things. And then the Spot Track Trade Machine has all of the new information added into it, the new CBA all added in. I've seen trades on other trade machines where I'm like, this does not actually work. Whereas with Spot Track, if something is possible, it'll work on their trade machine. So it's what we use. We love it. They do an absolutely fantastic job.
I will say too, Trade Machine, because people are asking, right? More and more teams are out. Over 2/3 of the league are out. You go there, you go to the top of the trade machine, and you can toggle to 25, 26. Yep. If you're wanting to make trades with next year's salaries and all that, we did a quick demo on here. I think it was last Friday.
Yep.
But you can do that. Do me a favor though, scroll up to the top. I want to show one other thing. I do it myself.
Yeah, let me jump over there. Here we go.
Keep going. Go under like NBA, like cover on NBA. And go to draft. And go to at the yellow button at the top, predict first round. And we have a mock draft machine. If you guys want to do your own mock drafts. So if you just do the drop down there and pick whoever you want. Now let's do let's say San Antonio trades the second pick to Milwaukee. You could go on the San Antonio drop down and you can assign that pick to whoever you want. You just got to scroll it down.
Okay.
And then it'll scroll within there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You can assign
cool.
to whoever you want. Yeah.
I like it.
So a little bit of fun tool there. And then if you hit the camera on the side, it'll save a screenshot of your mock draft and you can get it on there. So
very cool.
Just another way you guys can do that.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff on Spot Track. Oh, Keith, I meant to mention this to you. Spot Track did have some stuff on there with the Lakers that hadn't gotten backed out from the Mark Williams trade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had one that we caught. We'll fix that. Part of that is when you're migrating from year to year, it's just a back. No, and just we'll fix it. Do me a favor, Trevor. Send me a note on that after.
Yeah,
we're done.
I definitely will.
We'll get that cleaned up before the end of the weekend.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. I noticed that the other day when I was when I was deep in the weeds of the trade machine, and I forgot to mention it to you.
Yeah, there's just stuff with backing out trades that's more difficult. So, but we'll fix it.
Yeah. Let's see. When does the season flip to 2026 for trades? It would be July 1st. Yeah.
July 1st. Yep. So it's a little confusing. It always used to be midnight, right? That was the easy cutoff. Midnight, July 1st. You can free agent negotiations. I personally kind of missed it because it was like you and like 7 other sickos were up at night.
Everybody's staying up late.
Waiting on all that stuff, waiting on Woj to tweet about the Lakers spending all their cap space on Timofey Mozgov and the Wall Dang.
That was the worst. It was the worst night. That was so awful.
But we now it's 6 o'clock, which is nice because it's you're not half asleep and wondering like, did I fever dream what just happened? 6 o'clock on June 30th. And then for us, like, we'll might as well start promoting. It's only a month and a half away. We'll be live later that night. We don't go live at the start because we're both busy doing a million things, but we'll be live later in that evening. Generally, we wait till things kind of slow down. You can get a sense when it's like, all right, we haven't had a tweet from, I was going to say Woj and Shams. It won't be Woj anymore. Shams and whoever surfaces to be his competitor, I don't know. There must always be 2.
There can be only one.
They right.
Highlander.
Highlander. I was thinking 2 prevent with Siths because Sith Lords, right? There's always 2. Because I was just watching Andor. I was finishing that season this morning. But yeah, so I don't even know how the hell I got here now. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm tired.
We're going down a winding road.
Yeah, we're all right. I'm circling back around. I remember now. When the tweets start slowing down of signings, usually Trevor and I'll be like, all right, I think we're good to probably go live now. And then we go live and have some fun. With that live, we'll generally get a few things that break while we're live, and that's always a little bit of fun too.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good time to react to stuff that's happening, like we did to that draft lottery. Oh my god, that was insane.
Yeah, that was a blast. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
Like we did that, kind of just grew out of necessity.
Had we not, we would have regretted it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Guys, it's not like, people are saying it's funny when your trade idea gets ignored. We don't do a lot of reacting to trade ideas because then that just turns into like evaluate my fake trade, and it just gets really. Also, too, like I'm not trying to be mean, but it can be really hard to parse through what you're saying because it's just
You can.
here's 25 names, and it's like who's going where and what and all this. So it's hard. Sorry, guys.
Keith, at this point, who's your pick to win the whole thing? Have you adjusted your projections?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to pick Boston now. Probably I'm kind of going cliche a little bit here. Like whoever wins Thunder Nuggets, feels like what a lot of people are saying. So yeah, I think, probably the Thunder. Like if I had to pick somebody right now, I'd probably pick them.
I'll tell you what, I don't feel as good about the Thunder as I did at the start of the playoffs.
Sure. Yeah.
They've not been, there have been moments where they've been shaky. There have been moments where they just can't seem to score. Their offense bogs down. And that's certainly concerning. But I think they still have to be considered the favorites to win it, even heading into a game 7.
I'm a little nervous if they get through them dealing with Minnesota's size. Yeah. Like they've had trouble. They even in the Grizzlies series, which I know they won in 4, but the couple games that were kind of close was because Memphis really went in there and was like, we're just going to brutalize you on the boards a little bit. We're going to push you around. We're going to do that. And that's happened again a little bit in the Denver series. And Minnesota will certainly do that. They're going to do everything that they can to make it, extremely physical. So I'm with you. It's not quite as easy with that. So yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah. Somebody said, yeah, Knicks Wolves, that'd be kind of fun. Considering the trade that was made right on the eve of the season, that would be a lot of fun.
Right. I mean, that would be, if both teams made the finals, would it officially be a win-win trade, or would it be the winner of the finals would win the trade?
Adam Silver hands out 3 trophies: the MVP, the finals, and then here's a winner of the trade trophy.
You won the trade.
Yeah, I don't even know what you do. Who you put? I don't even know what you would do on that. Just the NBA logo, the Spot Track Trade Machine logo on there, and the trophy.
It would be Nico Harrison on it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Just for irony.
Nico was right after all. That'd be funny. Yeah, I know some people are kind of killing oh God, these finals are gonna suck. I'm whatever it ends up, I'm kind of excited. You know, I think any of the 6 teams, in there, it could be a lot of fun that are still left.
Big market wise, maybe it, that matters for the NBA. But in terms of I'm watching, whether it is, it could be Lakers Celtics, it could be Knicks Warriors, it could be Thunder and the Orlando Magic or whatever. I'm still going to watch, right? I'm still going to watch the finals either way. So as somebody who's going to watch regardless of the market size of the teams that are involved, I'm excited. I'm excited for the matchups that we're going to have. I think there's going to be some really intriguing matchups, and the chess match is going to be so important, I think, in the final, regardless of who makes it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm kind of it's kind of fun that we might get all kind of newish teams. I'll even say the Knicks, they haven't made it that far, and that's gonna be what, 299? Yeah, the last time they made yeah, right. Yeah, when it was the lockout season.
Season
made it to the Spurs, played the Spurs. So yeah, that's crazy. So I mean that's 26 years ago. So yeah, that'd be fun.
God, I see these things online sometimes where it's it makes a joke about it. People say 30 years ago, and you think they're talking about oh, you must be talking about the 70s or something like that. And then you remember and you go, oh no, I'm just old.
Dude, old. Two things. I had something that it was talking about how this team did something back in 2021. And I was like, okay, that was only a couple years ago. That's 4 years ago now.
Sure.
I'm like, oh man. And I realized COVID kind of broke everyone. But the other one today that made me, I was like, let's update the will and I'll spend the weekend digging my grave and hop into it. Brook Lopez has played for 17 seasons.
Yeah. And I remember him being in the draft.
Yeah.
And getting drafted. And it's
God, how are we there?
Is that possible?
I'll just mention it since it is a little newsy. Bobby Marks said, keep an eye on the Warriors for Brook Lopez, which makes a lot of sense for them. If you're going to play Green and Butler, they clearly, I think these playoffs showed they need a actual center size guy. Draymond just can't do that for 30 plus minutes a night anymore.
Right.
Brook, you need somebody who can step out and shoot. So Brook Lopez would be a great fit for them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Man, Pikachu's gonna be mad because this is how come the show's limited to 1 hour, not 2 hours. Well, it's not gonna be in an hour today. We're wrapping up.
No,
Here.
besides, I've got Lakers Nation live in an hour anyway, and I've got some other stuff I have to go cover before that. So yeah, that's why that we tend to keep it out. We like to have it, not feel like it's dragging or anything like that.
We go 2 hours too. People start complaining about I got 400 ads. Like, but we don't have anything to do with that either.
Yeah,
so
that's just done automatically. All right, let's see. All right, let's go with this. Quick CBA question. When a partially guaranteed contract is traded and immediately cut, like Duncan Robinson, do apron aggregation rules apply to his full salary or the post-cut impact?
Yeah, so to a partially guaranteed contract or a non-guaranteed contract is you count in the trade for the amount you're guaranteed for. So Duncan Robinson's contract, let me just pull it up so I don't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'll grab it and put it up on screen.
It's 19.88 million next season, but only like 9.9 million, just call it, it is guaranteed. And that's if he picks up his option, which clearly he will do. So what would happen in that is that 9,888 number, that's what he would count for in a trade on the Heat side. Now, let's say the Heat needed him to count for the full amount, and they needed him to count for 15 million to make a trade work. They can push that up to that number and put him into a trade at that number. So that's good. Like I think that's going to be a trade piece potentially for Miami. They want to do something. Then if the acquiring team cuts him, he counts for whatever his guaranteed amount is when he gets cut. So then it'd be, let's say 15 million. It's 15 million is what he'd be on the books for in terms of dead salary if a team did that.
Yeah, and if you can adjust how much is guaranteed in order to make the trade legal, and then that's how much will be guaranteed if the team were to cut the player at that point once they get traded. So maybe Duncan Robinson winds up being.
Mike asked, did I fire off a tweet of JB posterizing during the show? I didn't do that. I scheduled a bunch of tweets today. I'm having a little bit of fun on Twitter today with
there you go.
Motivational type ish things. Like I had from Friday Night Lights, Clear Hearts, Full Eyes, Can't Lose. One of my favorites out there. I've got a couple more lined up too, coming later.
All right. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we're having some fun.
All right. Well, I do need to get into a Lakers news story. I've also got to get into the live show. So I'm going to head over and do that in just a bit here. But everybody, thanks so much for joining here on the NBA Front Office Show. We appreciate all of you. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Yep. Hit the like button for us. And again, don't forget to subscribe as well. And I'll be live in less than an hour over on the Lakers Nation YouTube channel. If you want to talk a lot of Lakers, we'll talk trades and all that kind of stuff over there in just a bit. Thank you again, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. See ya and stay safe.